Who would have thought that this teenager who dare not even raise his head in the classroom would stir up the entire county's business world in the future? Abandoned by his parents and living with his uncle, he barely made ends meet with the meager living expenses sent by his second uncle. He wore the same clothes for the whole semester, and the odor on his body became the target of his classmates' ridicule. In such a desperate situation, his only comfort was secretly looking at the bright figure in the front row, Xiaomei. But this love could only be hidden in the deepest part of his heart without even the courage to approach. A pen became the witness of his shattered dignity. He tried his best to defend that insignificant decency and wiped the pen clean with the humblest posture, but what he got was the rich second generation's ruthless kick and the whole class's laughter. What made him even more heartbroken was that the goddess he cherished so much completely extinguished his last hope with just a cold look and a step back. The unspoken apology, along with that throbbing heart, fell to the cold ground. It was at this moment that Xiao Shuai swore in his heart, the humiliation he suffered today will be repaid 100-fold in the future, and he must make a name for himself. The days after dropping out of school were built with sweat and strength. The hardships of the construction site did not smooth his edges, but made him more resilient. Perhaps it was God's mercy, or perhaps kindness has its own destiny. That hesitation-free rescue became a turning point in his fate. When the thick envelope was handed to him, Xiao Shuai was stunned. This 100,000 yuan was undoubtedly an astronomical figure for him at that time, and even more a ray of hope to change his fate. He never thought that his kindness could tear light into his dark life. Family love is the strongest reliance in difficulties. Xiao Shuai unreservedly handed over this money that changed his fate to his second uncle, and his second uncle did not live up to his trust. The second uncle, who returned from the army with a keen business vision, used this 100,000 yuan as startup capital to start a clothing business. From the small-scale operation in a simple factory building to the prosperity of a large-scale factory, the uncle and nephew worked together with one heart and one mind, worked day and night, and turned the doubts and ridicules of others into motivation for progress. Xiao Shuai was no longer the poor boy who was bullied by others, but became an invisible rich man behind the scenes. Time flies, and the bright school beauty back then is now running around for life. Looking at Xiaomei's red eyes and lost back, Xiao Shuai felt mixed emotions. The former love and pain surged in his heart. He wanted to step forward and call her, but the scene of being rejected back then appeared instantly, and his legs felt as heavy as lead. The pen in his pocket was his spiritual sustenance for many years, and also his obsession to return it to her with his own hands. This chance encounter made his long silent heart ripple again, and also made him more determined to do something. Class reunions are always a vanity fair for adults. Xiaohao's arrogance and the students' obsequiousness are like a mirror, reflecting the reality of human nature. Xiao Shuai entered quietly, and no one recognized this former beggar. When Xiaomei greeted him politely but with a strange look in her eyes, Xiao Shuai couldn't help feeling lost. It turned out that he had long been forgotten. And when Zhao Hao handed him a high-end cigarette with a condescending tone, Xiao Shuai just refused lightly and took out his usual cheap cigarettes. At this moment, he didn't come to show off, but just wanted to return the pen calmly and fulfill his long-cherished wish. The moment the luxury car key fell, all the laughter and contempt stopped abruptly. Xiao Hao's arrogance froze instantly, and the students' expressions changed from contempt to shock, then to disbelief. No one would have thought that this poor boy they had laughed at all night was actually the behind-the-scenes boss of Qifeng clothing factory that they dreamed of currying favor with. That key that Xiao Hao took as a lighter not only opened the door of the luxury car, but also opened Xiao Shuai's suppressed dignity for many years. The humiliation of the past was completely reversed at this moment. Xiao Shuai proved with strength, don't look down on a poor young man, he will eventually rise.